fucking go.
Welcome into the DGD Podcast. As always, Robert Reynolds, my boy Keon in the building, back from the A. First off, man, welcome back. How was your trip, sir?
It was good. It's always good to see family. It's always great to see family. What's going on? I'm happy to be back.
Absolutely, man. So I guess let's do this real fast, right? You missed Monday's show. What did you go out there to do? Was watch the SEC championship. Now, what were your takeaways from that?
Oh man. First, want to give shout outs to Alabama for pulling out the dub. But man, I felt like I felt like Bobo I felt like Bobo shit himself in the most important game of the season, to be all the way honest. I felt like we kind of got ourselves in a position where it was very much so generic play calling down the stretch. There's a couple of things that I just have questions on. Why is it? One, why did we wait until the SEC championship game to finally put Anthony Evans in there at kickoff return or punt return. Why do we wait?
It's an excellent question, my man. Excellent
Like
question.
it's just stuff that didn't make sense to me. Yet again, shout outs to Bama. Milrow is a hell of an athlete. He was able to make plays even in situations where it kind of looked bleak for him. Um, I need us to have a total rehaul of our entire defensive line.
Overhaul, call it, huh?
100%.
All right, I like it. There you go,
We got a we got a bunch of Jags out there on
guys.
this defensive line.
I called it Monday. The motto on this show will be "Trim the fat" moving forward throughout this whole off season.
100% offense and defense. Um, I got questions in regards to our wide receivers. It like nobody stepped up. I get it. Bama's defense is phenomenal. I get it, but nobody stepped up. And to me, that was shocking, to say the least. Um, I'm watching our defensive linemen get pancaked and suplexed. Um, and when you're not able to put up pressure on the defense, on the defensive front, it's going to be hard all game. Games are won and lost in the trenches. Y'all have heard me say that before. Y'all have heard us say that before. And to really be honest, our defensive line got their ass beat in the trenches.
Yeah, wasn't the best experience. However, we talked about this while you were coming back. You did have a pleasant experience. Um, Care to share that experience?
Oh man, which one? Which one are you referring
I
to?
was talking about the bow time, man. Bow time.
Oh man,
That should not an advertisement, folks. This is a free ad, if anything. Just make that clear.
it was very much so interesting, to say the least. To say the least. Um, there's just so much that I just kind of take away from this. Our defense, we have to get better on our defensive line, man. There's no other way around it. What's up to everybody in the chat that's filing in?
Juan brings up a good point, though. I mean, it was so we did do a two spy situation, rushing three. I think for me, I think we got beat more so in the run game. It was just kind of, I mean, like
Yeah, they were shutting it down.
pass game. For what it's worth, pass game. I mean, you got 4 sacks on them, so that's not terrible. Could have been better, right? But we definitely allocated to stop, make sure he wasn't beat us on the run. Yeah, Juan says we lost by 3. We're bitching. I think it's okay to have gripes and complaints. I just think, Juan has a point too. I think we both can be accurately right here. I think I would like to have performances better than a one-legged Brock Bowers and Lad McConkey. I do think Juan has a good point, though. I mean, just think we were like that right there and only lost by 3. The future is bright, folks. So we're not dooming it.
Definitely is. It definitely is. It's just different changes that I would like to see.
I think they're going to be addressed. I mean,
I think so too.
Listen, after this bowl game, you got the whole winter, you got the spring. Juan calls the refs. Yeah. Questionable shit. Like,
I don't like that. Well, see, here's the thing. This isn't our first matchup with Bama. We know that the refs are going to be on their side. Like at this point, as Georgia fans, I mean, Juan has played. He's probably experienced that live and direct. So it's not like it's news. We know that the refs are going to be against us going into those games. It's just, I think my biggest thing is just finding ways to overcome it.
well, I think if I'm not mistaken, that the controversial Bond catch no catch, apparently they went back on it and doubled down, saying that they didn't see anything worth reviewing.
Mhm.
And I think that's wrong. But at this point, it is what it is.
They came out after the game and said that they were wrong on that too. So
Yeah. I
Came
mean,
came out and said it wasn't a catch. So
either way, right? I think we've put this game to bed. But what we're going to do tonight and on this episode is we're going to take and do a full regular season review. And we're going to bring up the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between.
mhm.
Whatever we want to talk about, whatever the brigade wants to talk about, we will discuss it. Right. And also, if you didn't know, UGA's 2024 schedule leaked, folks. Everybody wants to shit talk Georgia's schedule this year. They have no room to do so next year. And I guarantee you, and you're going to find out, if you haven't seen it, you'll find out what it is later on tonight. Or if you're listening on the podcast, if you're listening, you will know by the end of this episode.
100%.
We'll break it down and we'll kind of discuss that as well. Now, Keon,
Mhm.
regular season, 12-0, right? 29 straight, right? Ended up with 29 straight wins, right? After the 12-0 season there, regular season. First off, let's start off with a good man. What were you impressed with this regular season?
What I was impressed with is our resilience, our way to continue to find ways to win, to keep battling, to keep pushing, to not get complacent in a sense. I saw a lot of fight out of us throughout the regular season. And, it was just a team that came together and that decided that, hey, we're in this for the long haul. We're not going to quit. And I think you saw that throughout the season.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I think I'll take my first takeaway was Carson Beck. Um,
Yes.
just the fact that you come in first starts and you just look poised. I mean, there were some times where we, had some kind of questions and like, getting things slow, and he was being kind of passive at times, wasn't taking risks. Um, at the same time, he's building confidence there, right? Didn't make a lot of mistakes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Didn't make a lot of mistakes. I think looking back on this season, I know he's had like 4 or 5 picks or whatever, but a lot of them were deflections. I think one forced downfield pick, right? Again, I would, in that moment though, I wanted to see aggression, and he took aggression and took that risk, and it ultimately cost him an interception. But at the same time, right, he was very protective of the football. We didn't. I mean, it's one of those things that you're extremely excited to see. Obviously, with Carson Beck, we don't know if he's coming back. I think honestly, there's a growing chance that he does return, and if he does, that's going to bode well for the 2024 season.
We're
Juan,
gonna have.
go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna respond to what Juan said. I definitely agree with him 100% on this. If you could pull it up, what is it? Where he said the bad is the rotation of the backs and the receivers. I definitely agree with him here, especially when you look back at how injured our running back room was coming into the season. I mean, we had a couple of guys out there fighting for their life coming out there on their last leg. So definitely got to give him that on that one. I definitely agree.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say this though. I think the rotation to me is more of the receivers. I think looking at it is the depth. The receiver, from a recruiting standpoint, heading into the season, we were to the point where we just didn't have those guys, right? With all the injuries and stuff. I mean, keep in mind, you had Dylan Bell, which I'll take this actually for a good. I'm going to tell you this. I think Dylan Bell is a positive note. And the reason why I say that is because his versatility was on full display this season, right? Receiver that came in, played running back, was effective, had some explosive plays, changed the game at times. You can't really complain about that. And it just created issues when we had no other options. Now, at the same time, like I said, the bad part was you had no other options. I mean, you had Cash Jones, fair. Cash Jones is Cash Jones. Cash Money Records toned it down for the
From the
902
nine
time.
years, 2000. Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, again, Dejan and Milton, Dejan held it down. He came back, and held things up. But at the same time, Milton, it took forever for Milton to get healthy, but obviously when he got healthy, we saw a new, entirely new, different Kendall Milton, similar to what he was coming out of high school. And obviously we were thankful for that, right? I'm just going to leave that there. So there was some mixture of good and bad there in the backs. Receivers, definitely think it was negative. Ultimately, I think you have to look at it like Juan talked about the rotation, right? But outside of McConkey and Bowers, you had some play. You had guys make plays, but it was never consistent.
It wasn't. I felt like throughout different points of the season, it was not only not consistent. I don't think it was enough at times.
We definitely. Obviously, SEC championship aside, there were moments where, right, if Lad McConkey didn't play in the Auburn game, or excuse me, Brock Bowers didn't play in the Auburn game,
we would have lost.
Yeah,
we would have lost. I think that's one of the main things that we honestly need to target in the portal.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got good tight ends. I think what it is, I think Oscar Delp would be just fine. Pearson Lawson.
No, 100%. I'm talking about like true wide receivers, not.
I thought you were talking about tight ends. Excuse me, sorry. But no. Listen, I'll tell you what though. I'm gonna take a good for this part of the season. Georgia's offense not missing a beat while Brock Bowers was out.
That was a very high net positive.
I think there were a lot of questions, not only from Georgia fans, but everybody for that matter. And to come out as emphatic, and make statements like that, that was a very, very good positive. I'm going to tell you the ugly here, man. The ugly, playing down to competition again. And it happened all season. I felt like we play with our food. Now, when there was a game worth standing up for, we showed up. We showed out. We saw that happen with, right? We saw it happen at Ole Miss. Mizzou handled business. Tennessee handled business. But again, you had a close game against an Auburn team that wasn't that great, right? Georgia Tech played you to 8, even though, keep in mind, I understand you sat people out willingly. You're prepping for SEC title game. I get it. But still, the depth that we've recruited at, you would like to have seen more of a dominant performance. But at the same time, I have to credit Buster Faulkner there because my man was coordinating his ass off that game.
And plus, I think a big thing to, you can't really leave out here is that he knows us.
100%.
That's the biggest thing there. So, when you spent that time being here, being an analyst, you're looking at the numbers, you're watching the games, you're seeing it live and direct. You go somewhere else and you still have to play this team. You have a heads up and an advantage as far as you setting up what you can do to kind of help aid you in your attempt to beat us. So
yeah,
I think he coached his ass off. So
I will say this one brings up an excellent point about the receivers. So to help more clarification on this, Juan says nothing wrong with the group of receivers that we have other than the consistent playing time. Fair. I will counter that slightly. When you take a context, and I think this may tie hand in hand to what Juan is saying, but the ability to have a consistent breakout player with breakout performances, right? Like, I think we envision Dominic Lovett being this breakout receiver, right? Things like that, but at the same time, it just never materialized to that manner, really, Marcus Rosemary was our clutch receiver, right? But we didn't have that consistency. And me and Juan talked about this Monday, right? I would love to see us kind of stick to a tried and true, like 2 or 3 receivers, right? And then rotate out, when the game's out of hand, right? That's kind of what I think it should, because you create that chemistry, right? With more repetition, right? Juan did it as, at Georgia as a receiver, right? You create the chemistry with the more reps you get in game. And, and he brings up Pickens as an example. We had Pickens, but he didn't get the playing time. Now, at the same time, he was hurt, but at the same time, when he was healthy, you had that situation right there. So Harry Leggy says our wide receiver coaching needs to teach dealing with no DB, fear of penalty coverage. Yeah, I just feel like you got to create separation, but again, that comes with more reps and things like that. And you can ride the hot hand, right? I mean, we do this with running backs all the time. If a running back's in the game and he's catching on, dude, you just hand him the ball and go. I
Yeah.
mean, you know what I mean? The same can be said with receivers, but dude, I mean, it's like I said earlier on last episode, it's an awesome stat to look at and be, say, listen, we spread the ball around. You're going to get touches early. But again, the elite receivers in modern college football do not want the ball to be spread around. They want the ball. They
Yeah.
want the ball. They don't want it
Yeah.
spread around. They want the ball. So I think we have to find that balance there, right? I like that the offense has become more of it's kind of evolved into more of a passing offense, right? Where we've switched, maybe from like a 70-30 run in years past to like a 60-40 pass to run ratio, right? I like that. I think we've adapted in regards to that in the modern era of college football. But again, we rotate so much, right? Like I think it was like 9-10 receivers catch a pass. Cool stat, but you're never going to get the elite receivers to take you to the next level. I think Georgia was fortunate enough to take into context what they had with AD Mitchell before
Yep.
he left,
Yep.
right? So, if you're trying to get another George Pickens, right, that 5-star alpha dog receiver, I think you're going to have to sit there and slow down the rotation, right? It's nice to have the depth. It really is. I guarantee you, and I'm not going to never question the depth, right? But it's a double-edged sword, right? We saw this with Alabama, guys. Mechie and Jamo goes down. Alabama's offense don't look the same at all, right? And they let us know about it too, boy. Still to this day.
Still.
But the positive was when Georgia had injuries, guys were able to come in and step up and make plays, right? So there is a positive there. But again, in modern college football, elite receivers do not want to spread the ball around. They want to have the stats. They want to get the ball coming their way, right? So it's a double-edged sword. I'm kind of on one situation now. I definitely think you need to find that alpha dog. You got to pony up the money through NIL, but you also got to show something on the field. Slow the rotation down. Slow
Man,
the
look,
rotation.
for the past 2 years, being in the group chats you and I both are in, I've been getting told that, Georgia doesn't, you know, we're not trying to splurge when it comes to NIL. We're not trying to do that. And at this current point, it has to be done, man. Like we need it. Like I think we're getting to that point. And I'm not just saying for like wide receivers. I would have liked for us to splurge to go get an edge, or even still with the portal first. And that's the biggest thing I don't think we talked about coming into the show. Everybody and their mama and grandma is in the portal right now. It is nuts.
Oh, I mean, A&M's basically lost that whole 2021 class, which I called that perfectly, by the way. As soon as that signing day wrapped up in 2021, my words specifically were, "Good luck keeping them together." And that has crumbled apart. That looking like Afghanistan right now, all bombed out and depleted.
Uh,
So, but at the same time, you look at it though, right? I think, and trust me, we're going to talk more about this moving forward, right? Because you're right, the portal is open, the window has begun, and it's portal palooza in all terms, right? It's just that's what it is. Um, Speaking of, congrats to Brock Vandegrift committing to Kentucky while we're at it. So we'll be playing him next year. Should be interesting.
yep.
Should be interesting there. But no, on that note, let's keep going back to the 2023 review, man. What was your favorite game this season?
Oh,
Mine's easy.
you're probably gonna say Tennessee. Can Tennessee? It's either gonna be Tennessee or Ole Miss.
Mm-mm.
My favorite game is Florida.
It's fair. Mine was Auburn, and the reason why I say that is because not only did we walk in their trap and take over their trap, but Carson Beck, that was the game that showed me, at least I'll speak for myself here. That was the game that showed me that he can handle this. He can handle it. He grew up. We watched him grow up and mature right in front of our eyes, make some
Mm-hmm.
next level plays, right? You can say what you want. Brock Bauer single handedly took over that game in the second half, right? Let's be honest, he did completely. I don't care how ugly it looked. But again, that to me was the breakout game that Carson Beck needed, which ultimately set the tone for the remainder of the season.
Yep.
Now, I want to hear your story on why you said Florida, because I want to hear
So,
I want to hear the case for this.
so the reason why I say Florida, I thought it was a big moment for him, a big moment for Marcus Rosemy as well. I think it was a great moment for him to, showcase his talent. And you got to think this kid is back in his hometown. He balled out, and you just watch Florida just in true Florida fashion, just completely just shit their pants when it mattered most. Like I
Man,
fumbling on a what was it? They fumbled on a 4th and 1.
no, they that was the fake snap that went through Mertz's legs into ETN.
Oh yeah, which
Small Munda played that perfectly.
this is it's gonna man. Look, that was one of my favorite games. I would say for me, it would probably be a two-way tie between the Florida game and Tennessee.
Okay.
Those were my two favorite games of the season.
It's not bad. Let us know in the comments what game was y'all's favorite. I know Juan said Auburn. He also mentioned Bobo's play calling when we needed it for the game winning drive. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
brilliantly called drive for sure.
No, he was dialing
Mhm.
that shit up.
Yeah, no, 100%. Um, I feel like the low line fruit would be Ole Miss, just on the fact that we single handedly just destroyed them.
Yes.
Um, but at the same time, I'm not going to go there. I think another game, if I had to choose, would be the Missouri game,
Yeah.
because in that game, you you obviously won again, but you showed a different level of fight, right? Because in all seasons outside of Alabama, that was the best defense that we played all year, right? Um, and they took it to us. But again, it kind of summarized this entire season in that one in those 4 quarters was you're able to take a punch. This time you
Mm,
were able to take a combo, right? But still dish it back and ultimately, go the distance to pull out that unanimous victory, if you will, right? Um, that was another good one. Yeah, and Harry said Missouri was his favorite.
yeah.
Um, and you know what? The Missouri game was also my favorite because it solidified to me what everybody probably didn't pay attention to outside of the Georgia fan base. Kamari Lassiter is him.
Oh my God.
Strapping down Luther Burden was insane. Strapping down
See,
Luther Burden was insane.
and it just made me thankful for the fact of having Dominic Lovett as well, because that just made like I was watching that game thinking, man, this would be nuts if he was still over there.
Yeah, I mean, because with Theo, that's what. Listen, Missouri had a damn good combo with Burden and Weiss. That was a good combo, and then Cody Schrader too. Cody Schrader is insane. It's insane. I'm just gonna leave that there. But was there any negative? I mean, what was your worst moment of the season? And obviously, we're not going to
Uh,
use SEC championship game.
Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt. Why was that?
Turf is horrible. Brock
Mm,
went down. It was just all bad. I was gonna say the first 3 quarters of Auburn, it was bad. See, I'm gonna be honest with y'all about this Auburn game because when I watched this, I don't think I told y'all this, but I was watching this game and I was nervous. I was nervous. Jordan Hare, you know how it is. They they got voodoo. They got the woo lady. All types of craziness happens at Auburn.
Juan
I
knows
get
for
it.
sure. Yeah.
All types of craziness happens in Auburn. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching this game and I'm all the way nervous, start to finish. And I get more and more nervous and I'm getting to a point where I'm about to freak out and we're down. And then I just hear the announcers go, "Wait a second, is that Phil Collins?" They start playing "Can You Feel It in the Air Tonight?" Then pull up a graphic. Oh, well, Auburn has a history of knocking off number one teams. And they showed the graphic, and I'm like, oh shit, are we about to lose? Just
I
I
feel you.
I hated every bit of that. I hated every bit of that.
I feel you there. I'll tell you what, I hated the South Carolina game. It was just sloppy game. If ultimately we won, right, that first half, because that was the first half that we really were just completely 14-3 at the half, and you're like, dude, are we serious about to lose this game?
Yes.
Are we serious about to lose this game? Then you do enough to win 24-14, but I mean, like, Juice Wells cooked your ass, or no, excuse me, Xavier Legette cooked your ass all game. Like all first half just cooked you, and you're like, holy shit! Like, our defense is like starting serious questions, right? Serious questions.
And he like 6'7", 6'6". Like
Legette's fucking huge. Though. I don't know. I don't remember.
Like I remember him like matching up with one of our corners, and I'm like, oh Jesus.
Yeah. Harry says they make fun of HCED, but he understands the game. Also, that was a Bush move by the cow tippers. So
yeah.
But no, I think there were some downs. I think like I'm not going to sit here and call out players, but again, like the lack of pass rush, man, when we needed it,
man,
like the edge play was really like it had me on. It just had me pissed off because I mean, like you're so used to the standard, and you try to understand like we were spoiled with such good elite defensive play, right? So I tried to keep that in mind, but it's just like just small things that add up, and and it was just one of those things that you just like, damn, man, like what happened? You know what I mean? Like what happened? But no, a damn beast media says a win over Florida is always my favorite game. Missouri was fun too. I mean, listen, it's always fun to say fuck Florida, right? Just gonna leave that there. Absolutely, I ain't gonna complain about that.
So like with everybody, that's another team that I noticed keeps losing people to the portal.
Boy, so, now hold on. If we're talking a little bit of portal right now, I think Vanderbilt's probably got it the worst. Vanderbilt, South Carolina for sure too. Good Lord.
Yes.
And then Florida. Good Lord, it was insane, man. I don't even understand how Vanderbilt's going to host a team. I really don't. Well, it don't matter because they're in a half-built fucking stadium too. But whatever. But
yeah, when is that going to be done? Is that going to be done?
I really don't know. I really don't. Don't think you care. Don't think you care.
That's also fair too.
Get rid of that turf and we'll be okay. Hold on. Speaking of field, hold on. Another negative of the season, man, is I'm sitting there in that Florida game and watching the field just look like dog shit, man. Like seeing that field and knowing that one of the Florida guys got hurt for the season, by the way.
In the warm-ups.
In warm-ups. It wasn't even during the game. It was during warm-ups. You know what I mean? Like
horrible.
It was just one of those things you're like, dude, like we're sitting there, you know, the schools get paid money to play in Jacksonville, but if the city's going to do that shit, like you got to understand re-siding a field 5 days before a game makes no sense.
Literally the worst idea.
None. Like I know the intent was nice, but like then you run into the same issue that happened, right? It didn't take. You had literal vertical lines, gaps in the fucking field, and it's like, what? Like this is how we're doing. JWG said this loss is just going to make next year more exciting too soon, but for real. Sure. I think now you start to talk about the get back, man. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
They get back a motherfucker. Got to make it happen, though, man. You got to go to Tuscaloosa to make it happen, too. That's going to be very interesting. We're going to save that for later, though. Keep that in mind. Williams went with the power rush. So this is a Dan Beast Media. Williams went with the power rush more often than not against Proctor, and that was a problem. The speed game is what I had listed as a key to the game, and he did the opposite. Honestly, though, the game plan for what we saw and the game plan, like literally Bama's game plan and how they viewed the game and how Georgia viewed the game were the exact opposite, and it cost us ultimately. Even though, keep in mind, really the last mistake being the fumble, right? That fumble in our own, part of the field. Ultimately, that was the end of the, that was what sealed it. You had the questionable calls, whatever, missed field goal. You had more ample time to, we're not going to be Ohio State fans here. You had ample time to overcome that. Let's be serious. But yeah, and then also it says, Danby says, Jalen Walker was nice, and I had hoped to see more of Damon Wilson. Well, Damon Wilson showed flashes to me, right? And that's something I'm extremely looking forward to. And I think what I'm most, and Keon, we'll transition into this next one. What are you most looking forward to after seeing this season moving forward? And I think it's going to be the development of the edge players, because now I would like to see Damon Wilson become more of a polished edge player where you have the ability to go out and long arm some folks and contain the edge, right? Set the edge. But his speed rush is unquestioned.
Oh,
right?
100%.
But at the same time, people may forget about this, but Gabe Harris during the season, especially to start the season, was out there making plays.
100%.
And I think we kind of knew Mpemba, Keon was kind of one of these guys where like he's so raw that like next year is probably going to be his year. Brings me to question, like, dude, he's just a physical freak. Kid's a freak.
Bro, I watched him coming in like on some summer workouts type stuff. Buddy up there just pushing 600 like it's nothing. I'm just like, Jesus. I'm going to tell you this. The young guys on this defensive line next year, they are going to pop out. I really believe it.
Well, it was also fun to watch Christian Miller get a lot of run. It was a lot of, anticipation for next year too, right? And again, trim the fat could never be more realistic. I'm just going to leave that be. But yeah. So I'm trying to think. Who would be your MVP for the team? You only get one. You only get one choice.
One choice?
One choice. The whole team.
Carson Beck. I mean, I got to give it to him. First year starter. You came out here and you balled. And on top of that, you minimized on the many. I mean, because let's be for real. He had a lot of opportunities where he could have fucked up, excuse my French, and he didn't. Especially out of a first-year starter. I think Carson Beck, he has to be the MVP of the team, mostly because of the mistakes he didn't make. And when it comes to a first-year starter, you see that a lot. You see a lot of mistakes. You see a lot of deer in headlight moments. Mm-hmm. And I can honestly say I really didn't see that from him this season.
Yeah, his composure, even though he'd been in the system for so long, it's still different when you're playing in the 100%. Actual games. I'm going to go a different route here, and I'm going to go might be something you're questioning here, but give me Tyke Smith. Tyke Smith.
I like that.
I think it's easy to say you could have went with Kamari Lassiter. I think Kamari Lassiter showed me that the dude was bona fide. But Tyke's impact, Tyke's impact on that defense, not only from, just overall, right? Tackles, boom, led the team in picks. There you go, right? Just constantly making plays, right? Constantly in the area making plays. That was the Tyke that we expected coming out of West Virginia, right? The freshman All-American Tyke Smith.
Damn, I'm gonna miss him.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Obviously, I think Carson Beck is a perfect choice as well. I think Carson Beck is probably the choice. But for the sake of the discussion, listen, I think Tyke had played about as damn good a season as you could play. Honestly,
Bro, you got to give, and I want to take the time to shout out our entire secondary, um, our entire DB room. Y'all really came through for us this season, and we really put y'all on a lot. Like our defensive line not really being able to generate like sacks and stuff like that. We put a lot on our DBs this year. We definitely did.
yeah. Um, Israel saying that Beck leading the nation on third down has to get it. I mean, listen, like I'm not going to argue Carson Beck. I guarantee you ain't going to hear me arguing one bit. Right? You're just not going to do it. But ultimately, again, defensively, man, like Tyke led the team in several categories. I don't think a lot of people pay attention to that either. Mitch Allday says another choice for MVP, Cedric Van Prant. Yeah,
100%.
bona fide leader of that offensive line. Bona fide leader of that offensive line.
I'm gonna miss him the most.
I just think his leadership, man. Just leadership, overall
You,
leadership. Not saying
you
it.
can't put a
Listen, Jared,
price on.
yeah,
You can't
Jared,
put a price on that stuff.
Jared Wilson, for what it's worth, will be just fine. But I think there's something about Cedric that I think a lot of people's going to miss after he's done. Keon, do you want to read this for us, buddy?
Go ahead and throw it
Right
up here. Looking forward into seeing Janelle Aguero and Humphrey do work next year, and Ellis Robinson will push to see the field this fall. I agree with you 100%. 100%. And who said this? Where does it say the name? Am I not looking at the right place? Was it Georgia
It's a
Bulldogs?
damn beast media.
Oh, well, Dan Beast Media. I agree with you 100%. I've been screaming for this uh, even during the season when it came to what next year is going to look like. Yet again, to get Humphrey back there healthy, Janelle Aguero out there as well, Ellis Robinson. My favorite recruit this cycle is Ellis Robinson. So I'm really excited for this.
Absolutely. So we've got our MVPs. Let's do freshman of the year, man. Freshman of the year. Who do you got? Regular
I'll let
season.
you, I'll let you go first on this one.
CJ Allen, give me CJ Allen.
Yeah, I'll say CJ Allen. I'll say CJ Allen, Raylan Wilson.
Yeah, they definitely did a lot. They progressed a lot. Trying to think. Yeah, I think that would. Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, I think that's those two. That's the best ones. I think.
I mean, you could argue on the offensive side of the ball. Excuse me. Um, I'd like to say Roderick Robinson because Roderick looked fine at
Uh,
times, but
First, that's
ultimately,
a
I'm going to
big
go
ass dude, bro.
to
Like
be moving
I,
that fast.
bro, I knew that he was a grown man playing high school football last year, but then once he got here, it's like, oh shit, like you, you are massive, buddy. But yeah, offensively, I would definitely give it to Rod.
But I think overall, freshman of the year, got to go CJ Allen here. I just feel
Yeah.
like it's unanimous there. Um, trying to think, which coach, which coach would you give a game ball to for the season? This is gonna get interesting. Oh,
Mm,
Mitch brings it. Hold on, what you think about that? Mitch says, "Let me get a vote for Peyton Woodring." Actually, that is a really good one.
that is a great one.
That's a good
Uh,
one, Mitch.
that is a great one. I would game ball for the season. Honestly, I'd have to give it to Mike Bobo, bro. I mean, even for us to be back in this situation that we were in, like I said, like the SEC championship game aside, he was dialing that shit up
all
all
year, all year.
season on you motherfuckers, man. He was dialing that shit up all season. Had Carson Beck out here bowling.
I'm gonna go now because you took mine. Right, I want to bring this up to bring it different perspective. Give me Fran Brown.
I wanted to say that, but I ain't want to get sad.
I
I
mean,
ain't want to get sad.
you could argue Stacey Searles too because that offensive line and pass protection was brilliant. Now I got a question why we played 73 so much, but that's why I went with Fran Brown. But that defensive backs, man, those defensive backs were cooking, especially in run support all year, man.
Damn it,
All
Fran,
year.
come back. What you doing out there in Syracuse, man?
Israel
You don't
brought up a
even
good
wear orange. Come on.
Israel, you bring up a point, but I do have a counterbalance to that or counter to it. You see, y'all got to remember Monken struggled his first year. Also, Monken came in after a James Coley offense.
Yeah.
Bobo comes in retaining most of the Monken offense, right? That was what Monken ran, and just made tweaks to it. Now, to his credit, I'm not gonna hold Bobo to a different level, right? I just think it's different context. Certain circumstances changing out. Harry Leggy says the Bobo haters are out. Yeah, the man. I mean, for what it's worth, they might be back though. They might be back after that SEC title game, but let us tear up Florida State and let's everyone hear. Oh, you did it against a third string quarterback or some bullshit. But Mitch says Stacey Searles damn sure checks some boxes for me too, and all the love to Todd Hartley. Yeah, I mean Todd Hartley. For what it's worth, like you got Brock Bowers, like you've already at a level. You're at a level. Like you don't have to coach. You just send that man out there. Dude's just a fucking I don't even know what more than it like crazier than an avatar. Like dude's just freaky.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Terminator. Seriously. Thinking of anything else other than that, man. I think the season 12-0, right? Regular season was a success. Right. Everybody wants to shit on your schedule, right? Still got to go out there and play the games, right? You win 12 games. You ended up with 29 straight after those 12 games. Let's see. We will need that go-to guy next year. Who will it be? Are you talking about the tight end room, Israel, or are you talking about in general? What? Be more specific on that one, and we'll answer it while I'm wrapping up.
But 29 straight. Longest consecutive win streak in the SEC history. Shout outs to everybody that was a part of it and helped make that happen and make it possible. This is not a small achievement. This is the longest win streak in the I ain't gonna say in the country,
SEC history,
but in the conference.
I think like 2001 Miami or some shit was 31 or something like that.
Right. So yet again, this is not a small achievement for us to come out there and do that. Yet again, hats off to the players, hats off to the coaches, trainers, everybody associated with the team. Yeah. I love it. And go Dogs, man.
So Israel mentions offense period, wide receivers, tight ends. Let's Israel keep me to this, okay? Bring us back after the portal closes and everything. Maybe bring it up another time, right? Just see what happens because there's so much fluidity right now. Like if I don't want to be held to something and then like 3 days later something changes, which could alter my answer. So let's just hold off on that. Keep me to it though. I think that's an excellent question to bring up at a later time in the spring potentially or at some point in the winter time. We'll see. But I definitely think right now with the portal being everything, like it's just going to be insanely difficult to predict that when you have no clue what the portal looks like. But Juan says a bigger achievement is we have 0 Utah transfers on our team because they're absolute trash. And they got to deal with that. Got to deal with that. I think that was funny. Keon, let's do this. We're gonna take a moment to talk about our sponsors before we go into this 2024 schedule because we have to talk about it. But first things first, guys, we're gonna go straight into it. I want to give you a shout out here to Apotheos and Alumni Hall. Listen, every single morning I have my coffee from Apotheos, and I'm telling you right now, as it stands, every morning I have my Mocha Java blend. It's delicious. and I have it, and it gets me started every day. But it's also a good thing to know that I'm supporting them dogs, right, and the Classic City Collective, because 20% of every bag that you purchase, right? If you go to our website, dgdpodcast.com, and you go to our sponsors section, and you click Apotheos, and you go to the shop, their website, you have to do that though. Use our website.
Hell yeah.
Every single bag that you get, 20% of the proceeds from that bag are going to the NIL at the Classic City Collective. So you're supporting them dogs, and you're getting your fix for the morning, starting our day off the right way. Now, also, Alumni Hall, guys, these shirts, all the stuff you see us wearing, jerseys, whatever, the Air Maxes, all that stuff, guys. Alumni Hall got it. All right.
When Rob wakes up to make that Apotheos coffee, the first thing he grabs is his Alumni Hall Georgia Bulldog back-to-back national championship slippers, just so his feet don't freeze.
Speaking of slippers, it's cold outside too. They got
Yeah,
hoodies and stuff too. So hoodies, pullovers, everything. All licensed apparel too, by the way. So check them out as well. They're also in the local area, the Coney Connector. Let's see, I got it right here. If you want to go check them out, 1791 a Coney Connector in Athens, GA. If you go in store, now this only applies in store, but if you go in store, mention the DGD Podcast and you get 10% off your order. So keep it in mind. Go get you some stuff while you're in town. Just going to leave that there. Thank you guys for the season, Apotheos and Alumni Hall. Thank y'all very much for
Thank you so much
supporting us, and I'm glad to be able to support y'all as well, and continue looking forward to prosperous future moving forward. Let's see here. JWG and Juan. It's literally the Hatfields and McCoys. Always arguing, and eventually it's going to get dangerous. Adamby says 29 wins is the third longest streak in college football history. 2000 to 2002, Miami was 34, and Oklahoma in the 50s, if you want to count it, was 47.
Nope.
Holy shit. Boy, if you didn't have black kids on your team at that point, that's too long ago. It's too long ago.
We don't
count pre-seg stuff.
Yeah, we don't count segregation ball. I'm sorry.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, listen. You got to understand. Back in.
Oh wait. I'm sorry. I gotta bring this up.
What?
Bojangles, please sponsor this podcast. Before I flew back from Atlanta, Georgia, back to Dallas, Texas. I stopped at the airport. I was in Terminal T. For those of y'all that done traveled through Atlanta Hartsfield, y'all know what I'm talking about. I was in Terminal T. I stopped at Bojangles. I got me a Bowberry biscuit. Dare you to say that 5 times fast without messing up, bet you can't. I got 2. Sponsor the podcast. This shit was amazing. Right now, if you have a Bojangles in your area, please go there and order a Bowberry biscuit.
Now, I'll tell you this right now. I've had Rusty Mansell on the show before. Me and him and Mike Yuva, by the way. Mike Yuva and Rusty Mansell are both some Bojangles connoisseurs. Keon. We have our discussions. It's funny because fun story was I had to guide Keon through the Bojangles menu for the OGs.
Yes.
And 100% got it. I think I got him set right.
I am committing to Bojangles.
Look at that. You hear that,
Okay.
Bojangles? We're going to clip this just for their sake.
I am committed to the University of Bojangles and the Bowberry biscuits.
Because why?
My recruitment is officially closed.
It's because it's bow time. That's why.
It is bow time, baby.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, Keon, the menu hack that I told you has to stay on the hush hush until the real OGs come out to play.
Bowberry biscuits. Matter of fact, Bojangles, come to Dallas, please. Where are you? A Bowberry biscuit to start my day is exactly what I need every day, along with my Apotheos coffee, so I can dunk it in my Apotheos and then devour it.
I'm just letting you know right now, man. Y'all have no idea the menu hack that I told Keon. Keon, you're welcome.
Yeah, no, seriously. Yet again, Bojangles, sponsor this podcast, please.
Listen, you got some Bojangles fiends in here, man. Israel laughed because he don't realize it. But Mike Free, aloha from Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Go Dogs. Mike, welcome in, man. Goodness, we got the aloha dogs, man.
The Aloha Dogs.
Aloha brada. Did I do that right? Oh, trying to pander a little bit. Let me be. But yeah, no. That was a free ad, by the way. But yeah, Bojangles, if they ever sponsor this show, we gonna have to figure something out. I'm gonna be 400 pounds before the end of the quarter.
No, seriously.
I'm gonna be eating Bojangles too much.
No,
Oh, my
seriously.
word. But no, in all seriousness, though, glad you made it back from the A, man. Let's do this. We talked about, again, thank you, Apotheos. Thank you, Alumni Hall, for the season, right? Sponsoring the show. Obviously,
Definitely.
love the support. Hopefully, our support is helping y'all as well. Look forward to continuing that, by the way, as well. Let's talk this 2024 schedule, Keon.
Go ahead and pull it up, my guy.
For those, so if you're listening on podcast or if you don't have social media and you didn't know, 2024 Georgia's schedule got leaked. I think AJC leaked it, right? This schedule is not. It's not this year's schedule. I'm going to let you be. And I'll explain why. So here is the 2024 Georgia schedule. So first things first, you have 14 weeks, which means you have a week 0 game. It appears. August 31st, you host Clemson you bring up Clemson in Atlanta, right, in the Benz. Followed up by a matchup at home against Tennessee Tech, right? I think there's your cupcake game. Then after that, you travel to Kentucky, and you play a Brock Vandagriff led team. So it seems now. You have your first of 2 byes on the 21st of September before making your trip to Tuscaloosa for the big one on the 28th of September and playing Alabama.
I will be at that game.
I will tell you this. I don't want to hear any Auburn fans say shit because we're doing something they never would because they're too pussy to do anything about it. We host Auburn the week after Alabama.
Jesus.
So October 5th, we are playing Auburn right after Alabama. We then turn around to go to Starkville and play Mississippi State. Actually, I think we host them at home. Excuse me. We play Mississippi State at home, so my apologies on that. Then you go to Texas.
Let me tell you.
In Austin.
I need everybody to understand that is a 3-hour drive for me. I am at that game. There's no way I miss it. There's no way. No way. No way. If I see one game next year, it is that one.
Yeah. So just to clarify, Mississippi State is a home game. So apologies for the graphic. So you will host Auburn and then host Mississippi State before going to Austin. Then your second bye week on October 26th before the cocktail party on November 2nd in Jacksonville. Then you travel to Oxford and play a Lane Train-led Ole Miss team. Then you wrap up the season hosting Tennessee, UMass, and Georgia Tech. That is a schedule, folks. That is a schedule. Just going to leave that there. What are your thoughts on that?
It's getting kind of hectic. Y'all better be ready.
Ain't nobody gonna tell me shit if we come out there and we win. If we go, I don't know. Obviously, it's way too early, but if we go 10-2, 11-1, or maybe if we go undefeated through that, good Lord.
Well, and also let everybody know, 10-2 through that schedule, we're in the playoffs. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's what makes all of that. I don't know if it's just me. To the people that are listening in the comments, that's what kind of helps me feel a lot better about us missing it this go round, is knowing that with who we have leading our team in Kirby Smart and our coaching staff, we not finna miss another playoff.
Yeah.
That shit's over with. But yeah, definitely have marquee games all over that schedule. It's gonna be a tough schedule. But we got faith in our dogs. We got faith, um, knowing how this, or well, not knowing how this could go. Um, I can't wait. Season ticket holder me, baby. Shit, season ticket me, baby.
Yeah, no
Seriously
doubt.
though, if anybody can like hook me up with that, like definitely let me know because
I
I'm real
definitely.
life trying to throw the money at it.
So for what it's worth, Mitch brings up a good point. He says that the buys are very well placed. I think it's by design,
100%.
but I'm okay with that.
Me too.
I'm completely content with that. I think well, for what it's worth, I think we need that, honestly.
we need those buys exactly where they are.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's just my thought right there. Yeah. Let's in the comments. Let us know what you think. What games? Obviously, listen. I'm gonna just do this because I don't see a situation in which anybody is gonna say anything outside of the two options here. What game are you most excited about next year, and why is
Texas.
it? I was about to say, and why is it either Bama or Texas?
It's Texas. I live here. I'm from here. I've heard nothing but shit talking about this team my entire life. I am ready for this shit. I am ready for this shit. Alumni Hall is finna sponsor this fit. I swear to God.
I
It's
mean,
oh, bro. I don't think you under. And then the fact, like, for those who don't understand, so Dallas, Texas to Athens, you're looking at a solid 14, well, I'd say about 14 and a half hour drive. Horrible. Would not recommend. Done it multiple times. But the fact now that I can only have to drive 3 hours. 3 hours.
there you go.
It's beautiful. It could be a turnaround trip. It won't be because I'm enjoying my time in Austin. Austin is a lovely city. For those of y'all who have never traveled to Austin, highly recommend it. Definitely, definitely would recommend. But yeah, no, it's definitely Texas. I got a point to prove. We got a point to prove.
Oh, Mitch has a good question here. Let me pull it up. He says, "Can we just talk about how to win a championship, Auburn or Tennessee could have to play 5 games against some combination of Georgia and Alabama, and hold on, and we could have to play Bama moving forward as many as 5 times every 2 seasons."
Well, I mean, I could see a world where we play Bama 3 times next year.
Yeah, I mean it's very possible.
Schedule, SEC championship, potential natty, question mark.
Maybe, definitely something you got to think about there for sure. Um, oh, this might be the comment of the night. Mike Free saying to hit that thumbs up and subscribe, folks. I ain't even thought
Hell
about
yeah.
I ain't even thought about that, but yeah, it's got a good point there. Got a good call there, Mike. Man from Hawaii coming in. He's you can tell he had his apatios today for sure. Not even that.
Also, since we are here, we're we're in the postseason, the off season. Everybody that's listening, if you aren't already, follow me on Twitter. It's Podcast Poppy, all one word, 2 eyes at the end. And when it comes time for the show, shoot me, tag me in your questions, tag me in your posts, some stuff that you want me to bring up on the pod, stuff you want to discuss. And also, feel free to drop the likes, share, subscribe, follow. Let your mom know, let your dad know, let the kids know, let your grandma know. Go outside and scream it to the neighbors. Follow the DGD Podcast. Let it be known.
Oh, wait, hold on. There you go. You heard the man. I can't even fucking deal with it.
Yeah. No, I'm here. You there? You know what I mean? That way. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there I am. There I am. Yeah, that's me.
It's literally
That's
it's
me.
literally bass backwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no,
100% badass
let's see.
record.
No, I think, but I do think that's interesting though. Playing Bama that many times, or any, because the good thing is, guys, there's no more divisions either, right? So you're going
Yeah,
to play the best teams from the conference, right? So if that means Georgia, hypothetically speaking, if that means Georgia and Bama every other year or every
yeah.
year, then so be it. If
Let's
that's
do it.
say Texas comes in and plays Texas, Alabama, dude. And we're definitely gonna dedicate more time to this between seasons. I'll guarantee you this. The the possibility of marquee matchups in conference play now just drastically increased. And I'm
100%.
completely on board with that. Right? From a fan's perspective, you live for shit like this. You do. You get nervous because you worry about losses, but it's not the same concept because of the 12-team playoff. I think and I hope to God the 12-team playoff kind of does their formatting and seeding based off of other criteria, because the 14 playoff just ain't it. But again, we're going to save that for a lot more discussion. It's coming.
Also,
It's coming.
also keep in mind as well, especially with adding these teams to the conference and getting rid of divisions. I'm a huge supporter of getting rid of the divisions because now everybody in the conference has to play everybody in the conference. You can't be Texas A&M running from this here ass whipping. Okay, looking right at you, Aggies. Can't keep running from this ass whipping. You're gonna have to get in line.
Yeah,
It's coming for you.
not wrong.
Okay. And that's going to turn it up even more, give people even a better opportunity to see their teams up against the perennial teams here in this conference. And, honestly, it shows you where you fit in. It's more of a get in where you fit in kind of mentality. And I truly love that because of the fact that we're getting rid of the divisions. And every 2 years, you will have played everybody in the conference. I absolutely love that idea. I
Yeah.
love that. Great job on Greg Sankey. And yet again, we already know here, not even to be on some serious conference warrior stuff, but I mean, who's doing it better?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I think
I mean, you even look at the stats. I mean, that Alabama and Georgia SEC championship game was literally the highest string college football game ever.
yeah, definitely. It's crazy to think that. Now, obviously, the playoff game against Michigan, Alabama, Michigan could top some shit. I ain't gonna lie. I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
That's gonna be nuts. That playoff game, just based off of the storylines, I think behind it. But yeah. So with that being said, guys, I think we're gonna wrap this up. Right? We've discussed that. Keon, one final thing. Let's end the regular season off here. How would you grade overall the regular season from A to F?
A plus.
A plus. Explain.
Carson Beck came out there and led this team to victory throughout the regular season. We overcame different challenges and hurdles uh, from attrition, and we saw players step up in ways where a lot of people in our fan base may have questioned and was very much so doubtful. I watched this team get put through a lot of adversity, and I watched them overcome a lot of the adversity. And I never saw this team quit at any point in the season, regular season or postseason.
I'm gonna go A minus. I think offensively you can't ask for a better performance. I think you just wish you had more consistency on the receiving core.
Yeah,
I think what dings me is the edge play. The edge play was severely lacking, and I think it hurt us in the regular season at times too. Um,
yeah,
because think about it, we
yeah. I
have
might
to.
go with you there on the A
Well, think
minus.
about this, and the reason why I say A minus is because multiple
Now that I
games
think about it,
you had Auburn, right? Peyton
Mhm.
Thorne cooking us for that many yards. Schrader, which turned out to be a damn good running back, but Schrader cooked us a little bit. And then keep in mind another thing, guys. We went most of our games giving up a touchdown on the first drive. So most of the time we were down a possession anyway. We basically gifted a touchdown So we played from behind a lot this season, when in years past we hadn't done that. So it was something unique there. So I'm going A minus.
Yeah, I might ride with you on that
I
one.
mean, listen, the undefeated record is what it is, but there's too much stuff for me not to give it, I mean, to nitpick, to not be able, I can't give it an A or A plus. There were some significant deficiencies there.
I definitely get you.
Mitch says I'm willing to go A minus, but only because of lackluster rushing attack and pass. Well,
Yep.
rushing attack, I'm gonna give a slight early advantage there. Like give a credit to it early, due to the fact that you're missing running backs out the ass. And you can see that it got better. Definitely got better as everyone got more healthy. All right. Mike Free says next year will be a challenge. We have to rebuild the offensive line and have to get better on the defensive line. Yeah, we're going to talk about that moving forward too. It's the portal season, baby.
Yeah, it's time to go shopping. Just throw it in the bag. Yeah.
Yeah. Keon, let's wrap this thing up, man. Looking forward to talking. We're trying to go get, I think Monday's episode, we're going to bring in a guy to help us talk Orange Bowl. All right, we're going to bring in a Florida State folk, and we're going to bring him in, and we're going to talk about this matchup. Just talk about it in general, right? Gets to get a feel for it way too early, right? Obviously, with bowl games, you have opt-outs and stuff that may not have taken place. We're going to get a feel for it and talk about the overall context of it. So looking forward to that Monday. Other than that, though, Keon, any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up for sure?
Yet again, follow me on Twitter, Podcast Poppy, one word, 2 eyes. That's where you can find me. If y'all have any topics that y'all want us to discuss, y'all find something new concerning the dogs that y'all want to discuss, definitely let me know. Tag me. And I'll be sure to go over it and we'll talk about it here on the pod. Yet again, shout outs to everybody that's listening. I appreciate you, DGD, Juan as well, Kobe, DGD Podcast, man. And it's still dogs on top. Go Dogs.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I think it's something we went through another season, right? Took our first L in a few years, man, with this SEC championship. So I felt like we handled ourselves pretty well there. But on that note, we're going to wrap this thing up. We're going to catch y'all back Monday, hopefully to talk some Florida State in this Orange Bowl. I'm Robert. That's Keon. Bojangles is the best chicken place you can find for biscuits and stuff. Just leaving that there. Thanks to the brigade for coming out hot and heavy with questions and comments.
Shout out to brigade, man.
Absolutely. And again, follow, subscribe, whatever, wherever you watch. And if you're listening to the podcast, folks, didn't forget about you. Make sure to give us a 5-star review, man. It'd be perfect, ultimately, ideally. But at the same time, if you feel the need to tell us how you feel, let us know. I'd rather take honest criticism than just a fluff stat.
Yeah, absolute.
But other than that, we're going to leave it with this comment right here from Mayhem Matthew. We may have lost, but even Alabama's best teams couldn't do 29 in a row. So he's got an A+ for this season. Look at you, Mayhem Matthew. You might just change my mind. That might be the comment of the night. Other than that, though, folks, that's all we've got for the night on this episode of the DGD Podcast. We will catch y'all next time, and go Dogs.
Go Dogs.